SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
When banking starts to feel less personal, you know where to find us. Community Bank. Deep roots, local people, personal banking. Visit communitybank.net. Member FDIC.
And now, Sports.
Get ready, sports fans. It's time for Chasing Foul Balls on SuperTalk Pike County 93.5 and streaming worldwide on the SuperTalk Mississippi app and on your Amazon Alexa devices. Chasing Foul Balls, your weekly source for all the sports news and interviews important to Southwest Mississippi. Chasing Foul Balls is presented by First Bank. And now, here's your host, Robbie Hamilton.
Well, good Friday morning, everybody. Welcome to Chasing Foul Balls right here on SuperTalk Pike County 93.5. Glad to be back with you. Our guest this morning, the head basketball coach, men's basketball coach of Southern Miss, Jay Ladner, will join us. At Brookhaven famous Shaw Furlow will be with us just a little bit later this morning. Gather around the old microphones to talk about it. To my left, the young gun back with us. How are you, Wes Nunnery?
Doing good, Robbie. I started to wear some overalls in honor of my buddy Richard, but I didn't think I could pull them off quite as good.
Well, watch how you say that.
Mine don't have enough cow maneuver on.
Oh, no, you better watch how you say I'm going to pull them off. That's what worries me. To my right, you're back. The professor himself. Neil Randall, we got a pass this week?
Yeah, that's 2 weeks in a row.
I know. I looked over and saw you sitting there, kind of shocked.
Don't look for me next week.
No. I've already got it marked down. Let's go to work. We got some stuff to talk to about, and I need some help to start with. I figured Wes would be able to help me on this one. My math ain't mathing, Wes. They say you got $20 million to pay talent in the NCAA teams. That's what we're going to give you is $20 million. Most teams, or I say some teams, not most teams, a lot of the bigger teams are paying $40 million plus for talent. Where does the other money come from, and how can you be sure that this system would be able to continue at this rate?
That's some of that creative accounting, Robbie.
Is that what it is?
Uh-huh. That's the $20 million goes on the books, and the other $20 million is, it's just over here in a little bag to the side, like the old days.
Is that like under the table?
Yeah, exactly.
I understand how some of the money is done. A lot of this stuff is done where they make insurance policies on some of the stuff I promise you and all this. But what happens if some of the money is not delivered? Because all this money is based off pledges, I assume.
I would assume, yes.
What happens if somebody can't fulfill their pledge? Does somebody just not get paid?
Oh, Lord, I'm glad that's not my problem. I don't know.
Mr. Randall, you got an answer over here?
Well, I think what happens if they don't get paid, they're out of town pretty quickly, going somewhere where they will get paid. Now, I don't know.
And I wonder what kind of legal recourse would be on the backside of that for not getting paid. It's one thing to say, I can't pay you, and all right, I'll just leave. But if you had a deal in place, that could get real ugly.
But are they signed contracts, or are they just letters of agreement that could be held up in court for a while trying to get the actual legal definition of it?
Yeah, that would be the real question for sure.
I don't know. I can see how it works. I just can't see how the system can continue year after year. Because if I'm going to pay $40 million this year, it's going to cost me $45 million next year to pay the same players. Because everybody don't want more money next year than they got this year. So the system has to keep growing, and you have to keep finding this money. But I just don't know where all this money keeps coming from.
Well, I tell you what, as a USM person, I'd love to have that problem, Robbie. I would love to have to figure that out, where I'm going to hide that extra $20 million.
Yeah, where that extra 25 is coming from, huh?
Exactly.
All right, guys, we talked about it for 2 weeks in a row. It happened this week. The Outlaw returns. Will Wade back as the head basketball coach at LSU. one of the weirdest situations I've ever seen. Part of his agreement to saying, I will come back to LSU if the AD from McNeese gets a job in the athletic department at LSU. The president of what was McNeese is now the president of the LSU system. And Will Wade, the former coach at McNeese, is now the head basketball coach at LSU. Have you ever seen one like this where somebody fired somebody and then rehired them?
No, especially for the reasons he was let go. I mean, this is unprecedented. I mean, normally there's no way you would touch a guy that got you in all these sanctions and penalties and all that, because it'd bring too many unnecessary eyeballs on you. To me, this is more of an indictment on the state of the NCAA than anything else, where LSU and Will Wade just basically told the NCAA, look, you're not in charge anymore. We're in charge.
Well, and when you look back and you mentioned Southern Miss, what they did to Donnie Tyndall, and what, to me, what Will Wade did was, at least as egregious.
Will Wade fits the LSU system, though, don't he? He's the outlaw. We're the rogues. We're tough. We're mean. We're tough.
Yeah. He fits that culture down there perfectly.
He sets in perfectly to be the LSU basketball coach. What do you say, Neil?
Oh, I'll agree. He's a crook and an outlaw, and the Jesse James of college basketball right now.
It's going to be interesting to see how all this works out, though.
Sometimes history repeats itself.
More often than not.
And you see it, and you say, will it work? But you know it's going to work.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's proven it at the exact same place. I mean, it's not just like he's proven it in the SEC. He's proven it in Baton Rouge. So give him the checkbook and a pen and let him go to work. It'll work.
How much money they don't have to raise for his salary, for his roster?
Oh, I don't know, Robbie. I couldn't even have a guess of what they're paying for a basketball roster now, but it's going to be significantly more.
Yeah, amen.
March Madness underway. Who you got winning the men's?
Flip a coin. I'll be honest with you, Robbie, I hadn't had a chance to watch a single game.
I watched part of the Arkansas game last night before I fell asleep. My daughter was watching it. That's about all I've seen. Who you got, Neil?
Well,
I hope it's not Penn State like football.
Well, Arizona looked mighty good last night. I mean, we know how good Arkansas is, but Arizona just manhandled them last night. But who knows what'll come next? And we got, 2 more games today?
Yeah, what was it? 2 or I don't know.
Yeah, at least 2.
I don't
Duke and St. John's, and I forget who the other one is.
Baseball season starts today. Braves get started. I'm in baseball full mode today. Women in South Carolina won't hold on and win again, or there'll be somebody to upset them?
Well, Texas is still in it, so I would think it would be between those two, but I hadn't kept up with it really, what you would call closely.
Yeah, I would agree, Neil. Odds-on favorites have got to be South Carolina just because they've been there so much and they're so used to the environment and the pressure. And if I was picking, I would pick South Carolina.
Baseball, big weekend for college baseball in Mississippi. Ole Miss and State get together in Oxford. You seen them both. Who's going to win?
State is impressive right now. They finally seem to be clicking on all cylinders. That lineup they have is scary. They're murdering the baseball right now, and they're figuring it out on the mound too. So, is that series in Oxford?
Yeah, in Oxford.
In Oxford.
So State is 17-0 at home right now.
Right. If it was at home, I would take State in a sweep, but I like them to get 2 at least.
I tend to agree with Wes. I think Ole Miss has a shot, somewhat of a shot tonight with Hunter Elliott on the mound. But I think Mississippi State's pitching is really good, and I don't think I think it's underrated right now.
Southern Miss got App State today?
Correct.
Well, where at?
It's in Hattiesburg.
It's in Hattiesburg. So you should have a chance to take at least 2 out of 3
Yeah, we would really
in
like a
Batesburg.
sweep, but, we got to get 2 at home.
Think they can get 2 at home, Neil?
Oh, I wouldn't. Yes, indeed. I think they might get 3 at home.
It will be interesting to see what's the pitching thing. Why the change in pitching lined up?
It's kind of a weird scenario, Robbie. The bullpen in Hattiesburg this year has been absolutely nails. Probably the best I've ever seen. But they have had real trouble with all those arms, finding 3 guys to get them out of the gate and get going. Starting pitching has been really lackluster. Now, Ostrander being the pitching mind he is, I'm going to bet on him figuring that out. But right now, he's yet to settle on 3 guys that can get it going.
And you take Friday starter and make him the closer again?
Right. Who All-American as a closer, and for whatever reason just was not comfortable in that starter role.
Baseball's a strange thing, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. A lot of it happens between the ears.
Half of it's 90% mental.
That's right, 90% mental. I love it. Top SEC quarterback this year, Manning or Chambliss?
It's close on potential. Manning on the field, Chambliss. So I say they're right there neck and neck.
Well, I'll agree with Wes there, but I think it has a lot to do with the supporting cast and Ole Miss with basically a new coaching staff. I'm not so sure. Manning, to me, has so much potential, but he has yet to reach it, or maybe it's because the expectations were so high to begin with.
When you take a look at baseball, Major League Baseball got started, I reckon, 2 nights ago. Everybody will have played after today. Do you have a favorite as far as American and National League? It's hard to go against the Dodgers and the money in it.
Yeah, the Dodgers and the Yankees, and who else has got big pockets? So it's hard to go against them.
Well, I agree with that, and I hate, it's like Reese used to say, the rich get richer. I kind of like Detroit in the American League, and of course, what's the name? Toronto had a great year last year and had a shot to win the World Series. But in the National League, I don't know who in the world could challenge the Dodgers. The Phillies thought they could, but that hadn't happened, and Robbie's Braves aren't going to challenge. But now there are a lot of folks high on the Cubbies, but we'll have to see.
They got wore out yesterday.
They did.
And I would say Pittsburgh might end up being a surprise for it's all over. I mean, they got a bona fide ace and Skeens. They got some talent on that club.
Yeah, Skeens don't even get out of the first inning yesterday. He gets knocked out in the first inning. Who knows about baseball? Neil, you want to say it or want me to say it for you? Maybe the only time you can say it this year.
The Cardinals are undefeated.
Cardinals are in first place right now. I just want to make sure we got that out there for you.
And barely pulled it out.
Yeah, had to come from behind to win that one, didn't he?
Yeah.
Coming up, Jay Ladner, the head basketball coach at Southern Miss, Shaw Furlow, Brookhaven famous himself. We'll get started with Jay Ladner right after this. Welcome back. Chasing Foul Balls Friday morning here on SuperTalk Pike County 93.5. Don't forget, if you want to listen on the net, you can go to supertalkpikecounty.com. Listen there. Listen live, button up in the top right-hand corner. You can hear any program that we have done in the past or we will do in the present. It's on our podcast at Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Just go there and search for Chasing Foul Balls on the podcast. We'll be glad to have you. Don't forget you can join us on Facebook, Chasing Foul Balls. We try to keep you up to date on what's going on during the sports world during the week before we come in on Friday. We'll be glad to have you to join us at Chasing Foul Balls. On the phone this morning, head men's basketball coach with Southern Miss, Coach Jay Ladner, joining us. Coach, how are you, sir?
Hey, Robbie, I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me on this morning.
Man, we're glad to have you. I only got one question I need to ask you right off. Why is a basketball coach majoring in pre-medicine and biology?
I tell you what, if my dad was still living, I lost my dad back in December. He would be asking you the same thing because he wanted to see me be a doctor. Of course, my dad was a high school basketball coach for many years, always involved. He was coached down at Picayune back in the 60s and early 70s before moving to Hattiesburg and taking a job at USM. But he wanted me to be a doctor so bad, and but you know, as finally, when I told him that I wanted to be a basketball coach, first of all, he got incredibly mad at me, probably the maddest he ever was at me in my life. And I said, Dad, I just want to be like you. And, you know, that kind of softened him up a little bit, but he was happy eventually that I did. But you're right. I get asked that question a good bit when people find that out.
Well, you're a doctor of basketball, and that's what it is?
Well, that's kind of you. I appreciate that.
Hardest thing to understand about college basketball or any college sport now is NIL. How hard it has to be to a coach to adjust to NIL?
Robbie, to be honest with you, it is really one of the most. And I had a long conversation with Chris Beard last night. He and I are good friends at Ole Miss, and I'm speaking for him, but I'm also speaking for every single coach I know, and I talk to a lot of them all the time. It is the most unenjoyable part of coaching, and especially at the mid-major and the low-major level. It is. We have to raise our money. No chance of hardly keeping high-achieving players. So you know, we're kind of caught in a tough box there where, you know, if a player does well, then you pretty much know you're not going to be able to hold on to him because the big boys are going to come calling, and you just won't have the resources, and you won't feel right. I know, at least speaking for myself, you know, I'm not going to feel right if they have a chance to go make some generational money at the higher level of Division I, and of course we have to admit that there are levels to this. And selfishly try to hold on to them. It puts you in an ethical dilemma. And anyway, I'm happy either way. We tell recruits, look, we want you to come here, and we want. And one of the guys from y'all's area over there from Southwest just had an incredible year. Come to Southern Miss. We're going to pour into you. We're going to do everything we can to create value. And next spring, we're going to have a choice to make. You either got a chance to go make you a lot of money, or maybe you say, hey, I want to be one of those rare legacy players that in this day and time are going to be hard to have at the mid-major level, and stay and have your jersey retired and be all the player of the year in the league and all that kind of stuff. And maybe you want to stay, which you can't put a price tag on, so maybe you want to stay at Southern Miss. That's the choice that'll have to be made, and either way we're going to be happy. But it is not fun. People ask me just that don't quite understand, Robbie. They'll say, Coach, you know, great run at the end of the season. I hope you've had a chance to kind of get a little time off and regroup. It's absolutely the worst time. It is absolute chaos because you know the very minute you're done, people are pulling at your players. They're really pulling at them throughout the season. I mean, Bully Weeks and I have a great relationship, and he tells me everything. You know, I mean, it's amazing how many people have already reached out to him throughout the year, beginning early in the season, about transferring and so forth and tampering. I could get a lot of people in a lot of trouble if I wanted to. But it's not fun, and it's a great challenge, and we have to. It's hard to build consistency with your team. We've got great momentum. If we had all the boys back next year, that in the old times when they couldn't just transfer out of here after 1 year, and you know we'd probably be the preseason favorite to win it if we just had our returning players back. But that's going to be difficult for us to do in today's landscape.
Coach, Wes Nunnery here. In that same vein, you know, we've all got eyeballs, and after the season that Weeks and Tavares had, we know they're getting some conversation from elsewhere. But I don't know how much you can speak specifically to this, but what do you expect turnover-wise this offseason? Speak to that as much as you can.
It's hard. Of course, we're not quite there yet officially because of the portal doesn't open for us. Thank goodness. Then the one of small thing the NCAA did right is they up until this year they would open the portal after the regular season's open. So I mean, you're losing guys. These teams playing in the postseason, they already had guys that were making plans to go other places. I mean, it just made no common sense. So this year they moved the transfer portal date to April the 7th. April 7th through the 21st. So at least it's after the Final Four. So I can only speak in general. We are in the process of having all of our exit meetings at the end of the season, and we're going to lose them for a few guys for a couple of reasons. One, we're going to lose some guys that go make a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. Amazing what's being paid to guys. So y'all can probably read between the lines there. And then other guys that we think that are really strong contributors to our team, we're going to do our best to hold on to all of them. Let me put it this way: in Tavares, in Weeks, they have both said, "Coach, we would love to stay at Southern Miss if we can." Meaning that if there's any way to get the money in the same ballpark, but that's, to be very honest, it's going to be very difficult based on what's being thrown at them. But if we can, that is our goal. And then we're going to have our next kind of group of players that have been really good for us, that have eligibility left, that we're going to do our best to hold on to. That looks very promising, I will tell you that. And then there's going to be some guys that will have to make a decision about maybe going other places to get more playing time so they can increase their value. And then, of course, we'll have to recruit a lot of players. Back when I first started in Division I, you kind of knew what you had coming back. Like, okay, we got our point guard back, we've got our small forward back, we've got our center back. I got to go get a power forward and a two guard, and maybe a backup one. And you already kind of knew who those guys were throughout the season. Now it is absolute wild, wild west. It is chaos. So I hope I gave some context to my answer there. And so we're going to lose some that want to stay, but probably out of our control. We hope to hold on to some promising guys that had good years for us, that we can financially be in the ballpark with. And then we also may lose a couple of guys that just want to play a bigger role.
Coach Ladner, this is Neil Randall. First of all, let me congratulate you on a good season and a great run in the conference tournament.
Thank you, Mr. Neal.
My question is, at what point do you think, when will you know when will your roster be solidified going into the season?
I worry with the rules today. I worry, Mr. Neal, literally up until school starts, because guys can actually leave. They can sign with most people don't know this. They can sign with multiple schools. They can come in the summer, everything be great, and then say a Power 5 school loses a guy to injury in July and summer workouts, they can grab one of your guys. I mean, so I truly worry about our roster until school starts. But as we will, 90% of our roster will be set probably by mid-June. I always like to keep a spot or two open just for late roster movement, meaning guys, just what I said, maybe a guy at another school comes up, a new coach got in. He's not jiving well with the new coach. He may be looking for a new home. So I always like to leave ourselves a spot or two just so we could get someone that could improve our roster. But 90% of our roster will be done by mid-June.
Coach, it's Wes again. Kind of a two-part question here. We know you're a USM guy and you love Reed Green Coliseum, but facts are the facts that the place really hasn't changed that much since you were playing in the 80s, to be perfectly honest.
Hasn't actually changed since 1965.
Well, there you go. But you've got a multi-million-dollar facelift in the works for the Coliseum that is being reported to get off the ground in May. Talk a little bit about the facility renovation, and second part is, in this new age of recruiting, how important is a facility these days in recruiting?
Yeah. Well, it's not as important as it once was. Back when these payments and things to guys was maybe under the table, you had to do everything that you could above board to at least be in the same, same level. And let me just kind of put this in context. We all love Reed Green. It is one of the great home court advantage. I think maybe off a game or so, I think we're 46-12 at home over the last 4 years. So it is a home court advantage. It is loud. It has a great environment, hard place to play for our opponents. But it's not the most fan-friendly place. Very difficult for older people to get up and down bleachers. The restrooms are not adequate. And all those things are going to be addressed. It hasn't been touched since 1965. So 60 years, I would certainly say that Southern Miss has gotten their money's worth out of that arena. And I love it. But and I love what they're going to do to it, because they're going to keep a lot of the good parts of it, but also add those extra amenities that are needed. But I will say this, we are so far behind our conference opponents that you're making a great point. How important is it these days? The most important thing these days is your ability to pay players. I hate to say that. People agree with it, disagree with it. That is what the fact is. But you got to have an arena when they come to our place or go to Arkansas State or to Louisiana or James Madison or Old Dominion, and they have these big and really modern arenas, and then they come to see ours. The initial, especially if it's their first time, their initial impression was that it's not up to par, and it's not, but it's being addressed. I mean, that's all we can ask, and I'm very grateful and thankful for that, and excited about it. What's going to happen over the next 2 years, and it's going to be really, really neat when it gets done. So I'm excited about that. But it's important. It is important. It's important because it starts a negative impression, when people walk, if they go in there that first time and they've been at South Alabama, or Troy has beautiful arenas. I mean, we're just way behind, but it is being addressed. I'll say that. What was the second question?
You kind of covered them both in your answer.
Did I cover it? Okay. I'm sorry if I did.
That's okay.
Coach, recruiting JUCOs or recruiting high school players? With the roster makeup nowadays, what are the most important players to bring in?
Got to get guys that can help you right away. I'm speaking for everybody. Now, I'll say this. You can get down there and get a high school player now that maybe 2 or 3 years ago Southern Miss wouldn't have been able to get. You can get a high-level high school guy. But you got to have ones that that can come in there and help you, because two things happen. One, a high school player, that there is going to be just like when a junior college player, there's going to be a transition period of just getting used to the demands of their time and the hard work and getting up at 6 o'clock to lift weights and condition every day and extra workout, all this, it's very difficult for a lot of high school players to understand how the demand of their time, and it takes a little time for them to adjust. It takes junior college players some time to adjust. But we have to have players that can help us immediately. So it's difficult. The route to Division I is not like it used to be. Sign a high school player, he figures it out his freshman year, maybe plays some if he's really good. Second year plays more. Then third and fourth year, you're getting the rewards of your hard work, and they stay with the program. Now, if they don't do well the first year, Mama's mad at me, and she's wanting to pull him, because he played all this in high school. They don't understand the process, and then if he does really well, you've got other schools that all they do is look at who's doing well on your team, and then they buy him off of you. So it's very difficult to either way to take a high school player. Of course, we have over the last couple of years, and we've got our eye on a few this year, but it won't be many. I will tell you that. It's going to be primarily NAIA, Division II, of course, Division I transfers, junior college, and maybe a high school player too. Let me give you an example of how our team has changed. This year, our starting lineup, 90% of the season, and for sure over the last 6-7 weeks of the season, because it didn't change, we had an NAIA transfer, we had a Division II transfer, 2 junior college players, Bully Weeks being one of them from there at Southwest, Isaac Tavares being the other one, and a transfer from Alcorn State. Those were our 5 starters this year that ended up our season on a very strong run. So that's probably about the way our team will look here in the future.
Let's look back. How was it being part of the 87 championship NIT team?
One of the greatest experiences of my life. I always tell people, too, Robbie, I was a bad player on a really good team. I had the opportunity, played for Coach Turk, one of the revered figures in Southern Miss athletic history, and I just wouldn't trade it, and it's opened doors for me, even though I wasn't an impactful player. It's opened doors for me. I wouldn't be at Southern Miss today if it wasn't that experience on playing that team. But I played on with some great players, Kenny Seiler, John White, Derek Hamilton, Randolph Keys, Casey Fisher. I mean, some of the all-time great players in USM history, Gerardo Hinton, who are still brothers with me to this day. That team was very, very tight and connected, and I still are. And it's just one of the great experiences I saw on social media this morning. It was the 39th anniversary of that win. And I'll point this out because I know there's a lot of Ole Miss and State, LSU people in y'all's area. Southern Miss is the only 4-year school in Mississippi that has a national championship in men's basketball. So we love to throw that out there.
Let them know, Coach. Let them know.
No, I'm letting them know.
Coach, thanks for taking the time to be with us this morning. We sure appreciate it.
Always enjoy, y'all, and anytime y'all need me on there, or let me just say that y'all would like for me to be on there, not need me on there. You never need me, but would like for me to be on there. I'm honored to be, and thank y'all very much for your support.
Thanks, Coach. We'll see you.
Y'all take care.
See you later. Coach Jay Ladner, the men's basketball coach at Southern Miss, he says it all. You hear his voice, the frustration, can't you?
Oh, yeah.
Of the NIL and all that has to go along with that. It's just such a frustration. You want to coach basketball, but you got to put up with all this other stuff to be able to coach basketball.
Oh, yeah. And, it's got to be tough on him, on all of them, but especially a guy in his position in kind of the middle ground of the haves and have-nots. And, it's not easy for sure.
We'll come back. Brookhaven famous Shaw Furlow up next on Chasing Foul Ball. Balls. Glad to be with you on this Friday morning. Wes, when mentioned it going into the break, when you talk to Coach Ladner, if you know him, you can hear that frustration in his voice of how difficult it's been to have to coach basketball at a mid-major now with the way things are going.
Yeah, and on top of that, Robbie, I mean, let's be honest. South Mississippi is not basketball country, so you're behind the eight ball from the jump, and then of course you have the money issues and everything. I don't envy his position. I wouldn't want to be doing it. I mean, it has got to wear on you every day. Every day,
and you wonder if that wasn't part of the health problems that he has.
Very much, probably so.
Well, we have captured the world's famous Shaw Furlow. Brookhaven famous, not world famous. Brookhaven famous Shaw Furlow. How are you, sir?
Well, it's not bad. We got the bus cranked this morning. Me and Lester got up early this morning and cranked the bus and drove on down to Summit to be with you.
Lester the bus driver, huh?
Yeah.
Does Lester know the way from bus driver? Does Lester know the way from Brookhaven to Summit?
Well, if I give him a GPS.
Tell me about it.
Heck, man.
Go ahead.
Nobody can get around the Summit right now.
That's right. You got to be able to handle the what you call the thing there, West?
A roundabout.
Roundabouts. Well, you got to handle the roundabouts to be able to drive at Summit. We're big time down here. Tell me about it. At Colin Show, it was a Colin show band. What's the difference in bands when you say show band compared to a marching band?
Well, all right. You look at most marching bands, and if they're they're doing a pretty traditional drum corps style show that they've been doing for. I just chose to do something different, and I could do the old style. I did it for years before I got to Colin, but Colin gave me the freedom to do what I wanted to do, and you ought to. You ought to talk to Dr. Nettles. He had just become president of the college and drove on campus, and we had a casket sitting out there in the middle of the marching band field, which was across the street from his house. He called me and said, "Look, man, casket's got to go. Y'all can use it in the show, but don't leave it out there."
You told me that I was going to be able to be part of one of your shows when I was doing some Colin football, but I never made it to the show. But you said the one thing I could have done would have been the person coming out of the casket.
And we did. Our drum major came out of the casket. Now, here's the thing. Our drum major was as redheaded a young man as there ever was. Have you ever seen a vampire with a red hair? I don't think so.
Tell me about, while we're talking about music, you've been so much involved in music up in the Brookhaven area. How did the Wonder Boys, Shaw Furlow and the Wonder Boys, how'd that get started?
All right, I'm going to tell you, my son I hope he's listening right now. He's up in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He works for public radio in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And he was going to listen to me this morning, but I told him one day, he's a professional rock and roller, and I said, I'm going to start a band. I'm going to call them Shaw Furlow and the Wonder Boys. And he said, "Dad, that's the worst name I've ever heard for a band." It stuck. I said, at that point right then, I said, okay, that's it.
Do you have any of the Wonder Boys T-shirts left?
Not that fits you, my friend.
Hey, watch it. There you go. You get a guy on the radio and he gets personal right away. You can't help it, can you? Well, I'm not going to get into that. Tell me about your time at Delta State.
Woo! My first week there, my first trip to Delta State, I was driving my old 1964 Ford van, and I got buzzed by a crop duster.
Yeah.
And I said, what in the hell have I gotten myself into? What kind of hillbilly living, you know? The first week I was on campus, a tornado came through, and we had to evacuate. So a lot of my stories in the Delta revolve around tornadoes.
Were you
I'm gonna tell you what, though, buddy, we made some mighty good music while we were all up there.
Were you you were part of the band?
Oh yeah. Bill Clark was the director of that band, and you talk to anybody, and they'll tell you the same thing I'm telling you right now. He was one of the best there ever was, and he could make those kids. And I mean, they're coming in there from Loosedale and Natchez and Macomb and Monticello, and you know, and he was turning them into really fine musicians. And he did a great job with them. He passed away about a year ago now. Yeah, we had a lot of fun up there.
Shaw, this is Neil Randall. I too am a Delta State statesman. I'm not sure if I'm an Okra or not, but I'm
with you on that. I'm with you. I'm a statesman. Yeah.
I had that same experience with that crop duster up there around Shaw, Ball, or somewhere. It scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, it'll do it. If you're not used to it.
Oh no, and you don't get used to it. I didn't, and I stayed a long time. But tell us a little bit about your affiliation with the Mississippi Musicians Hall of Fame.
Well, that was a short-lived occupation of mine. I think I was actually there for 8 months, but Dr. Good grief, I can't believe I'm going to draw a blank here. Who started putting all this together, and he and I became friends, and over the years we talked a lot of projects together, and eventually when Jim sat down, he asked me to be the president. And so I did, and almost instantly there was a conflict between me and the board. And so, and you know how that goes, the board always wins that conflict, you know. So, but we had a difference of opinion of what needed to be done. And I'm going to tell you that the Hall of Fame is a wonderful group of musicians and people who were technically, Bob Pittman, for instance, who helped invent MTV. He's in there. He's a Brookhavenite, you know. And there are all kinds of really cool people in that organization. Mac McAnally's in it. I had the honor of giving Mac his plaque at I think we did it at Delta State, actually. Yeah. It's a real cool place. It's a real cool organization, and I hate that I couldn't stay with them, but and I think if they had stayed with me, they'd have seen my brilliance.
No doubt about that. We all have seen that. Even though you don't have full-size shirts for the Over Wonder Boys, we have all seen that.
If I order again, I'll get you one.
All right, I'm going to write it down. Overbrook Songwriters Festival in Brookhaven. You've all been big involved in that. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's my baby right now. It is in our 7th or 8th year. I don't know. We started, and then we had COVID, and so we didn't do it. And the next year we didn't do it. And so, but what we do is we bring 25 to 30 songwriters from all around Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. A lot from Louisiana. Those guys down there, they all upset. They could all sing the blues, man. But and we have 4 or 5 venues where they play, and it goes on like Saturday. It goes on all day in all the venues. So you get tired of hearing it at Tortilla Soup, you walk down to Betty's, or you walk down to Magnolia Blues and hear it over there, or you walk over to Recess and hear it. So there's something going on all day long on that Saturday in all the venues. And here's the kicker. We have sponsors that help us keep this thing alive. We pay all these guys to come and play. Now, it ain't a whole lot of money, but in 99.9% of these festivals, the artists are paying to play. And I'm not a smart man, and math ain't my big thing, but I have a feeling that if you pay to play, you're not going to be in business for long. So, no, and I just felt like I've been a professional musician my whole life, and I've seen venues pay $150 back in the '80s that are paying $150 today.
Speaking of as smart as you are, and is that how come you're hosting the T-Soup Trivia Night?
I am hosting the T-Soup Trivia Night.
Is that because of the smarts?
No, it's because I can read. I don't. I'm like Trebek. I don't claim to know any of that stuff, man. I got a guy, Yancey, writes for me, and he comes up with some really weird questions. They're fun to play.
You still a Cubs fan?
Until the day I die.
Boy, I tell you what.
It was a typical beginning day yesterday. No, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, a strong start.
It was not what we would call the product that we would hope put out there.
I understand. I'm a Braves fan. I go through the same stuff. Tell me,
Braves, I remember them.
Yeah.
I remember that team.
Yeah, they used to be at different places in Atlanta. Tell me about the Shady Side before we let you go. I know that was one of your original ways of doing things with Charlie Hewitt out there on the porch.
6 years ago today, I believe, we did our first Shady Side, 2 old men on the Shady Side, and then we added his wife, Libby. So it became 2 old men and Libby on the Shady Side. And we played music here on my front porch, as we call it, Studio A. And when we had a guest, we had to move to Studio B, which is my carport. And so we're not doing much there. Oh, Charlie's not feeling real well right now. He's a little under the weather. But when he's back, we may get this going again. My ex-mother-in-law, who I love dearly, she and I are we're still, of skin. So she said to me at Christmas, she said, "That old man that you're on the show with, he's just so mean."
She knew Charlie, didn't she?
I said, "You never met him, but that ain't a show. That's him. That is him." Yeah.
Final question. Tell us about Cole.
Cole is now working for Northeast Indiana Public Radio in Fort Wayne. He went in there to interview for an engineer job and producer, and they listened to his things that he produced, but that he also did the voiceover, and they gave him a voiceover job. They gave him a voice job. So he is now the host of All Things Considered in Northeast Indiana and Weekend Edition. All Things Considered, one of the best radio shows ever. Mississippi doesn't have anymore because they don't see the value of public radio. Excuse me, did I get off on a tangent?
No, not you, never.
I've been told I have opinions,
Whoever told you that told the truth.
Buddy, I tell you what, I miss you and me sitting up there in the stadium at Pooley Stadium or Sullivan Stadium and calling balls and strikes.
I tell you what.
You were trying to do a job, and I was just trying to mess with you.
You did a good job of it, I got to say. Let's get out of here because I want to play part of your music before we shut this thing down, so I'm going to have to cut this interview a little bit shorter. Here's our buddy, Mr. Joe Furlow.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Go on, girl, walk out that door. I've made my mistakes, been wrong before, but it's a big old world, and I'll get by. Go on, girl, walk away. But don't you cry, ain't no good time. Gotta be a better time than say goodbye.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.